For 3 decades, the Vorn Imperium had swept across the galaxy like wildfire, consuming star systems and enslaving species with ruthless efficiency. Their biotechnology surpassed anything known in the explored universe, allowing them to adapt their ships and warriors to any environment, any defense. The Galactic Council, once comprising over 200 species, had been reduced to a mere 43, each member race clinging to their homeworlds with diminishing hope. Then humanity entered the galactic stage. Earth had been overlooked during the Vorn expansion, an unremarkable blue planet circling an average yellow star at the edge of an unimportant spiral arm. The Vorn hadn't considered humans worth the resources to conquer. This was their first mistake. Captain James Reed stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, Earth's first interstellar warship. Reed was a weathered man with steel-gray hair who had spent half his life in military service. His craggy face showed the lines of someone who had witnessed too much conflict, yet his eyes remained sharp and determined. "Status report," Reed commanded, his voice steady despite the alarms blaring throughout the ship. Lieutenant Anna Wilson, tactical officer with short blonde hair and a perpetual furrow between her brows, responded without looking up from her console. "3 Vorn hive ships approaching, Captain. They've already deployed boarding pods." Reed nodded grimly. "Just as we planned. Activate the Prometheus protocol." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. The Prometheus protocol was untested in actual combat, a desperate gambit born from humanity's rapid study of captured Vorn technology. When humanity had discovered the remnants of a damaged Vorn scout ship 5 years earlier, Earth's scientists made a crucial discovery. The Vorn weren't invincible. Their adaptive biotechnology had a fatal flaw. It could be overwhelmed by multiple conflicting threats simultaneously. The Vorn could adapt perfectly to one type of attack, but forced to adapt to many at once, their cellular structure would destabilize. The first Vorn boarding party breached the Defiance's hull in the cargo bay. The aliens moved with unsettling grace, their chitinous exoskeletons shifting color and texture as they adapted to the ship's environment. Standing nearly 8 feet tall with 4 arms and compound eyes, they were the stuff of nightmares, organic killing machines that had terrorized the galaxy. Commander Thomas Hayes led the defense team. "Hold positions," he shouted as his security team raised their weapons. "Wait for the signal." The Vorn advanced, confident in their superiority, as they had been across countless battlefields. Their bodies were already adapting to the standard energy weapons the humans carried, hardening against the expected assault. Hayes tapped his comm. "Reed, we're in position." "Execute," came the captain's terse reply. Hayes gave the signal. In an instant, the defense team activated a dizzying array of weapons. Heat rays, cryogenic projectors, sonic disruptors, chemical agents, and radiation emitters, all targeting the Vorn simultaneously. The aliens shrieked as their adaptive biology tried to respond to multiple conflicting threats. Their exoskeletons bubbled and warped, unable to settle on a single protective configuration. For the first time in the history of their conquest, the Vorn experienced confusion, followed by something they had never known: fear. Across the ship, similar scenes played out as the human defenders implemented the Prometheus protocol. The Vorn, accustomed to overwhelming their opponents with superior biology, found themselves overwhelmed instead. On the bridge, Reed watched tactical displays as the boarding parties were systematically eliminated. "Phase 2, he ordered. "Prepare the Prometheus warheads." The Defiance's special missiles launched toward the 3 hive ships. The Vorn, detecting the incoming threat, adapted their hull defenses accordingly. But these weren't ordinary weapons. Each contained multiple attack vectors designed to confuse and overwhelm Vorn adaptive capabilities. When the warheads detonated, they released cascading waves of conflicting energies. The Vorn ships, like their boarding parties, couldn't adapt quickly enough. Their biomechanical hulls twisted and contorted before breaking apart. Within hours, news of humanity's victory spread across subspace channels. Species that had lived in terror for decades dared to hope again. Admiral Parker, head of Earth's Defense Force, addressed the Galactic Council 2 weeks later. The Vorn believed their ability to adapt made them invincible, she explained to the assembled representatives. But adaptation requires time and energy. Force them to adapt to too many things at once, and their advantage becomes their downfall. The council chamber erupted in discussion. The Vorn had seemed unstoppable, yet humans, newcomers to interstellar society, had found their weakness. Over the following months, human engineers worked with alien allies to replicate the Prometheus technology for distribution throughout the galaxy. Reed and the Defiance led a growing fleet of ships from dozens of species, all equipped with humanity's innovation. The Vorn Imperium, facing resistance for the first time, began to fracture. Their hive-mind leadership, unable to comprehend defeat, made increasingly desperate attacks that failed against prepared defenders. 1 year after the Defiance's first victory, a combined fleet reached the Vorn homeworld. Reed, now Admiral, led the final assault that ended their reign of terror. As the dust settled across the galaxy, humanity found itself at the center of a new galactic order, not as conquerors like the Vorn, but as defenders, the species that had pushed back when no one else could. At a ceremony marking the official end of the conflict, Councillor Drell of the Pelton race addressed the assembly. For generations, we will tell our young of the humans, the species that taught us that adaptation without innovation leads to stagnation, and that sometimes the most overlooked worlds produce the greatest warriors. Reed, standing among the honored delegates, simply nodded. Humanity hadn't sought galactic recognition, but they had found their place among the stars. Not through dominance, but through ingenuity when faced with overwhelming odds. The galaxy would never again overlook the small blue planet that had pushed back the unstoppable tide.